Welcome to Crosspointe.
Welcome to Crosspointe.
Welcome to Crosspointe.
We are an inclusive faith community
seeking to live out the loving, just, and generous way of Jesus.
We are participants in a long tradition.
It's less concerned with doctrines and dogma that demand total agreement,
but a life to be lived, enjoyed, and given away to others.
What unites us is a growing awareness that life is precious.
That we are made by love in order to love.
This community is comprised of and affirms the entire human family.
Regardless of race, age, creed,
physical abilities, marital or economic status,
gender identity, or sexual orientation.
So, if you're curious and have come to see,
if you are tired and have come to rest,
if you are grateful and have come to share,
if you are wounded and have come to heal,
if you're joyful and have come to celebrate,
if you are uprooted and have come to belong,
welcome home.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
There's a world at war, caught in suffering, silent casualties. God grant us peace in these sleepless nights. I can hardly breathe despite brutality. I know that we'll be free. I know that we'll be. So let the light in, keep it shining, let it break into the darkness. All the love there's us to see, we'll all be free.
In these desperate times, love will hold us here. Love will join our hands, teach us to have no fear. So we'll lay our down to wash their when knowledge has passed away, love will remain. Love will remain. Love will remain. When other tongues have failed, love will remain. Love will remain. Love will remain. When prophecies have passed away, love will remain. Love will remain. Love will remain.
Good morning. Next Sunday, October 26th, we will end service a few minutes early in order to allow us to come together and connect as a congregation while serving in a way that provides a tangible and positive impact for local groups in our community. From 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., we will have various service project stations available throughout the Crosspointe building for all who wish to take part. There will be volunteer opportunities available for people of all ages to participate. There is a maximum number of volunteers we can accommodate for each project, and so we ask that you register. You can find a little more information and register at crosspoint.org/events. Parents, we know that you want your child to have healthy social skills, including the ability to work collaboratively with others, to problem solve and resolve conflict, to understand the feelings of others, to set appropriate boundaries, and to show up as a caring friend. However, the process of cultivating these skills can be tough. You may have wondered, am I expecting too much? Is this just a difference in personality or a social concern? What falls within a healthy range of social behavior? In our upcoming parenting lab on Monday, October 27th from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. online, we've invited parenting expert Lori Tryon with 3C Family Services to help us understand the healthy social development milestones for each age, from birth all the way through the teenage years. Our hope is that this conversation will provide some handles for helping you to support your child's development through the years, guiding them to build strong relationships, develop healthy self-esteem, and navigate the social world with confidence. You can register at crosspoint.org/events. Our next community conversation is happening on Sunday, November 2nd, right after service from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We will be joined by North Carolina Coalition for Alternatives to the Death Penalty. This organization works across the political aisle to find alternatives to the death penalty and advocate for equitable alternatives that promote healing and increase public safety. We will watch a short video together about the history of the death penalty in North Carolina, then be joined by a panel of experts, including Ed Chapman, who spent 14 years wrongfully convicted on North Carolina's death row. This is a very important topic in our state right now, and we are fortunate to have this organization come to speak with us. Childcare is available for a small fee, and lunch will be provided. So please register in advance. Community Conversations is open to the public, so feel free to invite others to join in this important conversation. You can register at crosspoint.org/events. If you want to partner with Crosspointe financially on all the many things that are going on in our community, as well as helping us support things like you heard about in today's announcements, there are lots of ways that you can do that. You can find out more at crosspointe.org/contribute or text CrosspointeNC to 77977. Thanks so much for being here with us today.
Hi, good morning. Glad that everybody could join us today. This morning, I really want to start with our text for today. It's Ecclesiastes 9, verses 3 and 4, and then verses 7 and 10. And I'm reading from a couple different versions. This is what it says. This is the evil in everything that happens under the sun. The same destiny overtakes us all. The hearts of people, moreover, are full of evil, and there is madness in their hearts while they live, and afterward they join the dead. Anyone who is among the living has hope. Even a live dog, is better off than a dead lion. Go, eat your food with gladness and drink your wine with a joyful heart, for God has already approved what you do. Always be clothed in white, and always anoint your head with oil. Enjoy life with the wife whom you love all the days of your vain life that are given you under the sun, because that's your portion in life, and in your toil at which you toil under the sun. Whatever your hand finds to do, do with all your might, for there is no work or thought or knowledge or wisdom in Sheol, to which you are going. Ooh, that ends dark. Okay, so several weeks ago, I was listening to the news on the radio, which I often do, and I often do it in spurts and moderation, just for sanity. And as is not unusual, this particular day, the news ranged from bad to unbelievably horrific. And as I listened, I was just nearly overcome that moment by the unimaginable, never-ending nightmare of parents across the ocean trying to survive, trying to keep their families alive in the midst of a bloody war and a famine. But at the same time, in the median 2 lanes over for me was a woman with a sign that read, "Please help, kids are hungry, please give." And then, out of nowhere, a calendar notification popped up reminding me of my 8-year-old niece's upcoming cat-themed birthday party, and it instantly brought a smile to my face. I mean, I was giddy with the anticipation of shopping for a little 9-year-old girl who was a cat and Lilo and Stitch loving person. I wanted to buy her birthday gift. My kids are older, I don't get to shop for little girls anymore. I found myself grinning stupidly to myself at the stoplight. Hopefully nobody was watching. But as I hit the gas, I was instantly filled with guilt. What kind of person was I? I was excited about a frivolous kids' party while children across the ocean were dying, and a woman was literally standing on the corner asking for money to feed her kids. I felt like a worm. And this is the tension that we hold, isn't it? Every single day. Maybe not always as extreme as this, maybe more extreme. Former US President Teddy Roosevelt apparently said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." And then American author Mark Twain later amended it to, "Comparison is the death of joy." But either way, comparison and joy are not friends. But I don't think comparison only applies to my doom scrolling and finding myself simultaneously envious and not quite up to par in really anything. It seems like everyone else is looking better, feeling better, doing more fun things. And I am fully aware that what I'm seeing is highly curated, but the comparison trap is huge. There are other, actually more sinister ways that comparison acts like a thief. Like all my car feelings that vacillated between sorrow and joy and guilt, as if they somehow should be in balance with the world's pain. Or maybe feeling like I haven't experienced enough pain to be permitted such joy, my joy should compare to everyone else's guilt, as if joy were some sort of transaction or a balance in this strange cosmic scale. Because I can fall into the trap really quickly of believing that I'm not entitled to joy because my troubles somehow don't compare to someone else's, or that permitting myself joy might somehow diminish the gravity of their pain. But actually, like justice and equality and love and really most good things in the world, joy is not a pie. Because I have some doesn't mean that you have less or that I feel less empathy for what you're going through, or that you also can experience joy in your pain. I can be imbued with joy and simultaneously feel awful about the injustices and horror around me and actually be doing something about them. But joy and pain are not mutually exclusive. The level of joy we permit ourselves does not have to be proportionate to or compare to the despair of others or even the despair of ourselves. They live in separate silos. Our text today is from one of the more mysterious books of the Bible, the book of Ecclesiastes. And it's the 21st book of what's often referred to as the Old Testament, sometimes the Hebrew Bible. Sometimes Ecclesiastes is referred to simply by the author's name, Koheleth, which isn't really a name, but it really translates to something more like teacher or preacher. And the book is famously full of interesting and kind of weird life advice and wisdom. Some of it's encouraging, some of it's practical, a lot of it's really depressing. Ecclesiastes begins and ends with a really similar, actually identical phrase. It's Havel, Havalim, Hakul, Havel, which can be translated meaningless, meaningless, all is meaningless. And the word Havel here actually has many different translations in English. One of my favorite is breath, as in something is a breath away or it's gone before you know it. You can't catch it anymore. It can also mean vanity or absurdity, basically things that we just don't want to dwell on. But among other things, the phrase is meant to set readers up to join the author in pondering life and its meaning, if there really is any, and all of life's tensions. These are things like life isn't fair. Sometimes the bad guy wins. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. No matter who you are, what you own, what you've done, in the end, we're all just gonna die. Meaningless, meaningless, all is meaningless. And that's how I think I was feeling listening to the news in the car that morning, because sometimes we're left with nothing better to say. But Koheleth, the book's author, makes a point to be sure that the reader understands that, on the other hand, and in fact, at the same time that all the meaninglessness is happening, we can also experience joy. Good things also continue to happen all around us, sometimes to us, and sometimes even in us. It's a mysterious tension. Some scholars jokingly suggest that Koheleth was unknowingly the introducer of the not yet created catchphrase carpe diem, which is seize the day. It's okay to be present and make the most of. It's okay to even enjoy where you are right now. Carpe diem. And I think of this as the tension of the yes and. And Ecclesiastes is full of them. Reminders of all the absurdities and tensions we hold simply by being human. Yes, there is unavoidable grief and tragedy and sadness and injustice and inexplainable and sometimes unbearable pain throughout human existence. Yes. And there still are good things. And there is joy. Yes, and. Theater director and educator Rebecca Walls gave a TEDx talk in 2022 where she shared that yes and is one of the golden rules of improv. And in case you don't know, improv is a form of acting where you don't have a script and you make up lines as you go along. If any of you are old enough to remember the show Whose Line Is It Anyway? That's improv. One actor might say, I went to the store and got ice cream. And then the next actor would say, yes, I went to the store and got ice cream and I also got sprinkles. Yes, and. In improv, yes, and keeps the conversation going. It adds important details. It doesn't automatically exclude possibility. And Walls also points out that all of life is pretty much improv anyway, because we don't get a script, and most of the time we're just making it up as we go along. So yes, and applies to pretty much everyone, every day, all the time. And I can relate to that because probably like you, no matter my best laid plans, stuff happens and it is completely out of my control. Yes is the acceptance and is the possibility. Yes, there are hungry and dying children around the world, and I can find joy in my Lilo and Stitch loving niece's cat birthday party. The tension of the yes and in a life of a Jesus-based faith is that we're trying to follow the teachings of someone who was called Prince of Peace and whose most famous act was being killed in one of the most violent ways. Jesus was harassed by religious leaders, but took time to welcome and hug the children. He lived in a vicious Roman regime, and yet he talked about remembering the birds and loving enemies. Jesus knew he was going to die, but he took time to enjoy meals and laughter with his best friends. Yes, and I think Koheleth, Ecclesiastes, understood this tension well. Remember our passage? The author started this section of his writing with some pretty unencouraging news. And the same destiny is awaiting us all. The hearts of people, moreover, are full of evil, and there is madness in their hearts while they live, and afterward they join the dead. Anyone who is among the living has hope. Even a live dog is better off than a dead lion. So basically things aren't great for anyone. Lions, which represented kings and royalty, will eventually end up in the same place as dogs, which were considered filthy and lowly. People are full of absurdity. Life makes no sense. But Koheleth doesn't let despair get the last word, because remember, just a few verses later, they write, "Go, eat your food with gladness. Drink your wine with a joyful heart, for God has already approved what you do. Let your garments always be white. Do not let oil be lacking on your head." Did you catch that first part? God has already approved what you do. Ecclesiastes just said God pre-approves us. Really? Honestly? God approves? God, this Hebrew word rasa, favors, delights in, accepts, approves of what I do. I have nothing to prove. And approved is just a great word, isn't it? It's just pregnant with possibility. You've been approved for the apartment, approved for the loan. You've been approved for your license, your application, your benefits, your work, your permit. You have been approved. I didn't know I needed to hear that. Did you? You are approved. And if that's the case, that changes the game, doesn't it? We are pre-approved, whether I get the laundry done, the bills paid, become a clinician, a magician, a politician, an electrician. Capital One Visa would be so proud. I am approved not based on how I compare, what I do or don't do, how much pain or co-pain I try to feel for the suffering people I'll never meet, how much guilt I feel about not feeling guilty enough. Yes, we are approved. And then the following verse right after that says, "Let your garments always be white. Do not let oil be lacking on your head," which is all a bit of an interesting fashion choice. But during this time, people wore sackcloth and put ashes on their heads and their bodies to show that they were in distress. Often as an act of mourning or lament or repentance, sackcloth was usually made of dark material like goat or camel hair. And sackcloth was just what it sounded like. It was used as a sack to carry things. And wearing it would have been scratchy and uncomfortable, probably stinky. And the person wearing it would have been constantly reminded that they were supposed to be feeling lowly. Sackcloth and ashes were worn to show despair. But the author says to put on white and use oil, basically the opposite of sackcloth and ashes. And white was the color of celebration, the color of cleanliness, the color of approval of everything good. White cloth protects under the sun. Oil in the hair and the skin nourishes. It was used as a beauty treatment. There's actually not rules or caveats in this for this outfit in Ecclesiastes. The reader is just told to wear it. Not if you feel bad enough, if you're feeling good, just wear it. And both sackcloth and ashes, white and oil, belong in our closets. But a lot of times I find myself consistently choosing the sackcloth. Like if I don't, I might forget to actually care about all the non-joy. Or maybe somebody might think I'm uninformed. or that putting on the white is somehow dishonoring to the sackcloth or those in the sackcloth. Sackcloth and ash at the time were pretty much, when you wore them, it was pretty public. It was a public spectacle. Wearers wanted people to see them and so that they would know that what they were going through, maybe participate in it. And we do that too sometimes, don't we? I might have moments of joy, but I feel the need to quickly justify it or add something like, I know the world's burning right now, but please don't hate me for celebrating something good. Or maybe I'll post or share something great, and I'll have to prequel it or follow up with, so grateful to get to experience this when so many others do not. #blessed. We feel the need to justify our joy. Sometimes we do that to others too. Maybe it's just our envy talking, but comments can be brutal. Sometimes somebody will share something of pure joy, and comments are full of reminders of why that person shouldn't be enjoying themselves, or why they should have made a donation or a post or about pain or used their money differently instead. As if joy were too trivial for the gravity of the world's current situation. Now, I'm not diminishing gratitude or the need to raise awareness or to be aware of pain and injustice around us, or saying we shouldn't speak up about it, because all of that is important and the world won't change without both that and joy. But I think sometimes we need to embrace and celebrate joy in its fullness, rather than throwing ash on the white pantsuit. Recognizing joy, making room for it, is as important as recognizing pain. We diminish joy in lots of little, unrecognizable ways. But it's right there up next to love with the fruit of the Spirit. Do you remember the fruit of the Spirit? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. These are things we're supposed to practice. And if you notice, all of these things that are listed can be feelings, but most of them we think of as verbs, things that we do. We practice self-control. We have kindness. We give kindness. We do gratitude, right? Joy is actually both a noun and a verb. Joy is something that we do. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, which apparently I can't speak right now, we only use joy as a verb in modern English writing about 0.3 occurrences out of every 1 million words. We used to use it much more as a verb. It used to be more common to say things like, I can joy in the fact I have the day off. Or, I will joy dinner with my family. But as the word evolved, our understanding of joy has become more passive, and we put an N in front of it, right? I enjoy. It is something that we allow to happen to us, something we might happen to catch, like a virus. Things bring us joy. We find joy. We don't joy things. We enjoy them. We aren't joying someone's company. We are enjoying it. Joy isn't often something we actively pursue or practice in order to get better at. We spend a lot more time focused on the sackcloth. Maybe because it's darker and stinkier, I don't know. But I wonder what would happen if we put just as much focus on joy. Practicing joy can actually rewire your brain. Neuroscience has found that joy shapes the chemistry, structure, and growth of the human brain. Joy also builds brain strength. It releases opiates. Whew, man, I can't talk today. It creates new neurological pathways, basically. The pathways joy creates also help build resiliency, which teach our brains to self-organize in healthy ways rather than utilizing this primal desire to organize based on fear and survival. And science has also found that joy is contagious. Joy is important. I didn't say it, science said it. And Ecclesiastes knew it, but joy is so last on our list. Or sometimes it doesn't even make the list at all. The author of Ecclesiastes kind of gave us this trinity of how to find joy. Remember, he said, eat your food with gladness, drink your wine with a joyful heart, for God has already approved what you do. The text already, the past verses, reminded us life is short. And now the author is saying we are reminded to relish the simple pleasures. Sit at a table with the people you love, spend time planning and preparing and serving, and then savoring the taste of your food and your drink. This isn't takeout on a busy weeknight. These are intentional, planned moments of joy. When is the last time you allowed yourself to joy? When was the last time you thought about what you enjoy? When was the last time you gave yourself space for it? You might have heard of something called a bucket list, and these are things that you want to do before you kick the bucket or die, kind of depressing. But I saw something the other day that really stuck with me, and they called it the reverse bucket list. And instead of despairing and listing all the things that haven't happened and things that you want to do, you make a list, a bucket of all the things that already have happened that bring you joy. So what would you put in your bucket? What joy is already in your bucket? Take a few minutes to think about this and count on one hand at least 5 things in your reverse bucket list of joy. And on the other hand, list a few things that you enjoy, things that bring you joy, that you joy, if we're using verbs. So this could be in line with Ecclesiastes, what he suggested: good food, good drinks, time with friends. It could be something else: time alone, a good Netflix show, a walk, a fall, the season, a good book, dancing, music, people, whatever it is. Assuming all the things that you joy are healthy and legal, when was the last time you indulged and cultivated joy? Or maybe, better said, when was the last time you gave joy the same time and weight as sackcloth and ashes? Sackcloth and ashes feel so much louder and persistent and urgent. So take the next moment to choose one or more of the things that you enjoy and make a plan to practice it. Put it on your calendar right now. Text a friend, make an appointment, whatever it is you need to do. If we aren't intentional with joy, it'll get drowned out. Drowned out by our guilt, our apathy, our busyness. But really, yes, pain and joy. Yes, joy and pain. One does not immunize us from the other. And we do not need to feel or manufacture guilt, because we have been pre-approved to envelop and embrace joy. So the next time we're tempted not to allow ourselves to joy because we feel it doesn't compare to someone else's pain, let's be reminded that joy has already been approved. And so as you go into your week, may you eat your food with gladness and drink your wine with a joyful heart, for God has already approved of what you do. Thanks.
If you would like to know more or get connected to Crosspointe, go to crosspoint.org. If you're in need of care or assistance, go to crosspoint.org/care. And welcome home.